Welcome back to My Face. My name is Brianna. I'm the head honcho here at Bamby Media. Today I am giving the Amplitank Tank 3 a review, thanks to Fifine for sending me this. So more and more these days I have companies reaching out to me wanting me to review their products and give things a go, and I have to have used the product in order for me to review it. That is a no-brainer, okay? But for these guys as well, I have actually been reached out to by them before for another product that I really wasn't interested in reviewing, and so I said, no thanks, don't send this to me. But this particular product intrigued me, the Tank 3 Amplitank, which... Let's just talk on the name for a second. I think the name is pretty ridiculous. Is there a Tank 2 and a Tank 1? I don't know. I haven't actually looked it up, but Tank 3, okay. All right. It's a weird name, guys. I would say let's think of some other names, especially if it's also the Amplitank. Why is it then the Tank 3? There's too many things here for me to talk about regarding that name, so we'll just brush over that for now. It is a XLR and USB dynamic microphone. It's intriguing because when I first looked at it, I was like, oh, it's just going to be another plastic product that, you know, is really poor quality, and that does not interest me at all. But with this one, you know, they're saying that it's all metal construction and that it's hefty, like it's a tank. So I thought, okay, let's give this one a go and see what we think. As far as what you get in the box, it's pretty minimal, which I like to see. You don't get a pop filter. As you'll notice, there is no pop filter that I'm using right now, and we are going to run through some tests with this microphone shortly so that you can have a feel for what potentially the drawbacks are for this one. At the moment, I'm using it in the XLR format. I will switch to the USB format soon so that you can hear it in that way as well. The included cable is certainly long enough, the USB cable certainly long enough to attach to a laptop, something that is far enough away for you to not have it all up in your space. So that's good. Sometimes the included USBs are just a bit short, and that makes no sense to me. It should be at least 1.5 meters. If you can get to 2 meters, that's good. But there is some sort of dropout issues if you get too long with the USB cable. So I do understand that. It has a mute button. It also has 2 knobs on the side. So it gives you the options to see how much of yourself you're actually hearing in your headphones. There's also a knob for how much of the actual computer sounds you're hearing in your headphones as well. So for that to work, you need to be in the USB format. In the XLR format, you're not hearing that sort of thing. I don't have headphones on right now, and that's because you are relying on the preamp that you're using to actually have that function. So you would plug your headphones into your preamp to be able to hear what the microphone is giving back to you. The buttons are of decent quality. It's like a nice feel. They don't feel crap, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I was impressed by the fact that this definitely felt sturdy, felt more like a tank, and has a better construction. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to do some tests, and then at the end I'm going to give you my thoughts about this particular microphone and what the use case may be. First test we're going to do is the plosive test. Plosive meaning when you say the letter P or B, then how much of the P and B sounds are the microphone actually picking up. They can be quite a pain in the ass to deal with in post-production. If you have a bunch of P's and B's, it can be annoying. So you're probably even hearing them now. I'm saying lots of P's and B's. So we're just going to do a little test with my favorite saying here. Popping the popcorn. Popping the popcorn. That's on axis here. Now I'm going to go slightly off axis. Popping the popcorn. Popping the popcorn. Here I am switched to the USB mode of the Tank 3 Amplitank. Such a stupid name. Okay, so we're testing this now. Popping the popcorn. Popping the popcorn. Popping the popcorn. Off axis, popping the popcorn, popping the popcorn, popping the popcorn. Now, off axis is normally better with microphones as far as what's going to be picked up with the popping, like with the actual plosives without a pop filter, but you can gauge for yourself as to how you think this microphone has handled those sounds. The next thing we're going to test is the Sibilance. Sibilance is the amount of high frequency sound that you can hear inside your headphones or on your actual speakers when I'm talking. Some microphones have a very high frequency response and they have a lot of sibilance just kind of inbuilt. I don't like microphones like that, but we're going to test this one out to see how it functions. Here we go. Sizzling the sausages. Sizzling the sausages. Sizzling the sausages. And now the USB format. Sizzling the sausages. Sizzling the sausages. Sizzling the sausages. Now what I'm going to do is actually just sing into this microphone to see if it functions well with actual vocals. I have a mid-range voice. I don't have super high frequencies. I have a little bit of bottom end, but I kind of sit in this meaty middle. When I'm singing, I like to sing in my higher register as well, and I'll do a little bit of different sounds here so that you get some
higher register
and a little bit of the low stuff
to just see how that fits for you as well. So here we go. I used to float, now I just fall down. I used to know, but I'm not sure of what I was made for. Cause I don't know how to feel, but I wanna try. And now the USB format. Cause I don't know how to feel, but I wanna try. Okay, so that's higher frequencies. Now we're gonna go with lower frequencies. And for this one, we're going to do Ben Folds 5, The Loneliest. I don't get many things right the first time. In fact, I am told that a lot. Now I know all the wrong turns, the stumbles and falls brought me here. And now the USB format. I don't get many things right the first time. In fact, I am told that a lot. Now I know all the wrong turns, the stumbles and falls have brought me here. I don't know if that's the same key because I'm doing this at a different time without my headphones on, so deal with it. All right, I got my trusty headphones on here because I've just reviewed all of the things I just did over there. Now, first things first to note. Yes, Fifine did send me this microphone, but I was very clear with them in an email. I said, look, happy to give this microphone a review. It's going to take me a while because, again, it's something that I would want to use for a while. Any microphone that I get sent, I need to review it for a while. I need to be using it. I need to use it in different test cases to see how I think it's going to handle for you guys out there, because I don't want you buying a product that I don't think is very good. So I said that from the get-go. I said, look, what if I don't like it? Do you still want the review if I say I don't like it? And I was pleasantly surprised with them because they said any feedback is good feedback and that it helps them in further developments of their product. So actually, that is really nice to hear. Yep, cool. Send me this and I'll give it a review. Let's get into the things. First thing we're going to have a look at here is just the pops. So the fact that it doesn't ship with a pop filter is a bit of a pain in the bottom because it needs one. So when listening back to that, it definitely sounded like there was too much popping going on, and that was off axis and on axis. You can resolve a little bit yourself by just being more aware of how much sort of breath behind the B or P you are giving when you're talking, but it's not something that most people are going to be able to manage on their own. So something to note, you will need a pop filter if you go ahead and buy this microphone. As we're talking about buying, as we're talking about price, the price is one of the most interesting factors here. This microphone is only $79 US. That is not very much. So that's again why I was like dubious, because most microphones that are not very expensive are pretty bad. And this one, I have to say, actually performs better than other microphones in its class at that price point. The construction is good, okay? A+ for the construction at $79 as a price point. This is better than I would have expected for that. Now, if I take a look at the Sibilance test. So the Sibilance is quite hefty here with this microphone. There is a lot of S frequencies that it is seeming to highlight. Certainly, I would say you're going to need a little bit of post-production help to get those S's into a range that is more pleasurable to the ear. Not the worst sounding Sibilance I've ever heard, but certainly not the best. If we move into singing, so singing with the higher frequencies, with the Billie Eilish, and then also with the Ben Folds as well, with the kind of lower sounds there. The higher frequencies and that higher breathy sound, ha ha ha, handled it quite well. It sounds pretty good on this microphone. It's got a nice richness to that kind of higher tone. For the breathy tones, for the people that sing with a lot of breath, this microphone has worked quite well in that instance. With the lower Ben Folds type sounds as well, the microphone also handled that okay. It was all right. The differences between the USB and the XLR are quite significant in the overall tone and sound. In the XLR format, it wasn't as muddy. And muddy is a term you will hear a lot when you're talking about microphones or just audio in general, music. Muddy is like there's like this sort of tone that's low, and it kind of makes things feel a bit mumbly. It kind of runs together a bit with those frequencies. Muddy is something you want to avoid. The Shure SM7B and SM7DB actually are very muddy microphones, and I've spoken about that before. There's a lot that you have to do in post-production to get them sounding the crisp way that I would want them to sound, and I feel is best for like radio, being in a car, etc. The USB format of this microphone, so plugging it into the USB, was a lot muddier than the XLR format was. There was a lot more sort of tones in there. Neither of them sounded very good just straight out. Firstly, with the XLR, I had to pump the gain, like I had to turn it all the way up on my preamp, and my preamp is a very good one. It's a Focusrite Claret 8 Pre. It's a very high quality preamp, and I was boosting the crap out of this to get it to a level where I was comfortable with from an XLR standpoint. In the USB standpoint, obviously you can get it to the level that you want it to get, but there's more muddiness in it there. To me, this microphone, if you're using it for podcasting, you're going to need to do some post-production work or have some settings like built in when you're live streaming so that it sounds, to my ear, good. It doesn't sound bad. This is not a bad microphone for $79 US. Definitely not a bad microphone, okay? If this is what you can afford, this is a very good option. But the sounds that I'm hearing here aren't the sounds that I want from a microphone. And at that price point, I would probably just spend a little bit more and get the thing that I want to get so that it performs a bit better out of the box. For first-time streamers, for people who are really just getting into this thing, people that want a good quality microphone that doesn't cost a lot, and it's XLR and USB, actually pretty good deal. Definitely not a bad idea to get this microphone at that price point. But for me personally, there's some issues. So pop filter, you're definitely going to need one. The muddiness is definitely a problem. The sibilance, the sounds, is an issue, which again you can fix sort of in post-production, but it's something to be aware of. The sturdiness is really good. The being able to sort of control how much of yourself you're hearing, how much of the sound out of your computer you're hearing. I like that there's knobs on the side and that you can wiggle them, and there's like real good feedback. Also, the mute function in the USB format is great, especially for live streamers. Sometimes you want to mute yourself and burp or fart or, whatever you're going to do. It's really easy to just and put that on mute for yourself as well. So that's really quite good. What do I think overall? I think that actually Fifine has done quite a good job with it. At $79, it is a microphone that I would recommend to a first timer, someone first getting into it. If you are going to be doing a lot of singing, I think that you can do better, because when you're singing, there's more presence in there, there's more nuance, there's more little frequencies and things that you really want to try and get out. You're not going to capture all of that with this microphone. It's great for live streams, it's great for maybe podcasting, it's great for the beginners, great for that price point, but it's definitely not something that I would use for singing or even for instruments and things as well. The presence, the nuance, things that you're going to need from a microphone for those situations is not something that this particular one is delivering right now. That's my take on the Fifine Amplitank Tank 3. Thank you to Fifine for sending me this. It was actually a pleasure to review this microphone and give it my thoughts. If you're interested in purchasing this, there will be a link in the description below. We are an affiliate of Amazon, so if you click on one of those links and you purchase one of these microphones or anything else, we get a tiny little percentage commission for that, which is always nice. So thank you for doing that in advance. Tune in for one of my other videos where I battle this one, Tank 3, versus another XLR USB combo dynamic microphone, so that you can make some further decisions about that. Bye!